Broadcasting live from the west side of Chicago, this is a special presentation of the Empty the Bench Network. We are coming to you live from the legendary United Center, the house that Jordan built, and right now, the absolute epicenter of the college basketball universe. Today, the lights are brighter and the stakes are postseason heavy. The Madhouse on Madison is vibrating with the energy of 15 fan bases, all coming to Chicago with one goal in mind: Big Ten Conference glory. As the roar of the crowd builds, we take you courtside for an unfiltered look at the most grueling tournament in the country. From the tactical chess matches between Hall of Fame head coaches to the bubble teams fighting for their lives on the hardwood, we break down every buzzer beater and bracket buster from the heart of the action. The teams are on the floor, the stream is live, and the March Madness prep begins now. Welcome to Bando's Breakdowns, live from Chicago. And now, here is your host, Zain Bando.
What's up, everyone? We are live. It's coming to you guys from a really unique location because we're live from the location of the United Center. Friday, so thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Let's get a few things out of the way first. Administratively. First off, it's a YouTube.com and we're getting this support for about hours, so we're very important you guys subscribe over there as well. Again, that's youtube.com. You can also check out the show across media at each media. We're going to follow the show across social media at Bando Breakdowns. That's where all the clips live. That's where all the deals live. That's where all of the great content from every show coming out from. And just to do a reminder to full course, I'm Zain Bando. I'm hosting the show, host of Bando's Breakdowns. The show for now a couple of years. And of course, for multiple across the internet. So thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Kind of take on the inside of what is Quarterfinal Friday at the Big Ten. It's going to be the same show that you guys know and love. It's just going to sound a little different because we're literally on location. It's halftime of Michigan Ohio State. So we're going to go through and just kind of go through everything. Again, remind follow across the show on social media. And of course, to listen to Bando's Breakdowns live. As we do, Bando's Breakdowns is live from the United States. Very important to note that. We are not in a regular location again. Quarterfinal Friday is Michigan versus Ohio State in the half right now. 39-35. Michigan has to lead there in the first quarterfinal game of the day. And before we get into this more, though, we have fans over before. We're talking about today is mostly what's going on in the Big Ten tournament. Who's won, who's lost, who's still remaining going into Saturday. Saturday's going to be a big day. The semifinal Saturday tomorrow, so we're going to be getting up as well, starting with the quarterfinal. So the Big Ten tournament so far, we're in the first two sessions today. Session one is, I just alluded to, first game, Michigan, the number 1 seed, Ohio State, the number 8 seed. Let's go through some halftime stats. Well, we have 5 minutes to go until the second half begins. So first off, starting with Michigan, Trey McKinney leads all scores for the Wolverines with 10 points. Elliott could go with 7. Rodney Gale Jr. has 4. And so does Adi Mara, and Yaxel Landenberg only held 3 points. Michigan shooting 50% from the field, 50% also from three, very efficient. They're 15 of 30 and 4 of 8, respectively. Ohio State, the number 8 seed, who had to win a couple of games to get into this position, most notably knocking off Iowa yesterday in a great game by 3, 72-69. Ohio State 40% from the field, 4 of 12 from the three-point range, 88% from the free throw line. Of course, let's take a look at those stats. John Mobley Jr., who was hurt near the end of the season, has 7. Ahmad Bynum is 3. Bruce Thornton, the legendary Bruce Thornton, if you will, playing in a few of his final games as a member of the Buckeyes, as it is his final season as well. He has 13 points. And of course, Tilly has 3, and Devin Royal has 7. The winner of this game will take on the winner of the next game. That would be Illinois versus Wisconsin. Illinois comes in as the number 4 overall seed. Wisconsin as the number 5 seed. They took care of business yesterday, defeating Washington 85-82. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm looking over the nightcap slate as well, because the nightcap slate's really good. We have a rematch of a great game in Lincoln, Nebraska, but this time it's in Chicago. Purdue versus Nebraska. And the nightcap game is Michigan State versus UCLA. Probably going to stick around for the early session and catch the press conferences of both games in the early window. May stay for the beginning of the second window as well, but that is to be determined. Not quite sure how that's going to go for the time here. And in the United Center right now, what's currently going on is there's highlights in the first half, all the major things that are currently going on at the moment. Kind of giving you a capsule of what the game is looking like. Pretty balanced game on both sides, as the statistics show as well. And again, Michigan claims to a 4-point advantage. And thank you for the repost there. We don't have any comments here, but we're going to be live for the next 45 or so minutes. So anything you guys want to talk about, anything you want me to answer just about the United Center experience or the media experience, I'd be glad to do that. I was lucky enough to watch Michigan warm up before this game, trying to get rules. They're the best team in this tournament, and they're one of the perennial favorites to go to the national title game. We'll see if that ends up happening here, and we'll see if Michigan ends up taking it back to Chicago on March 27th or 29th for the Midwest Regional. That'll be very interesting as well. But so far, it was a good first half. Should be a great second half. It's good to see that Ohio State is looking forward, just given that they've struggled the last couple of weeks. They've won a few close games down the stretch. It should be interesting to see kind of what happens in the second half as Michigan was just elite all year in the Big Ten. Some numbers as well. Michigan leads the assist category 10-5. Rebounds, Ohio State has out-rebounded the Wolverines 19-14. And on the turnover end, Ohio State is unfortunately turning the ball over just slightly a little bit more than Michigan. That's 8-5 there for the Buckeyes. They're leading in the turnover category, which is rough based on how you look at the game. So there you go. And then for those of you who are just joining us now, 91st sheet of the road in here. Thank you so much for being here as well. And what else? What I was going to get to was the winners of the games in this first session will play the winner of the games in the remaining session. For those of you who just got here, it's quarterfinal Friday. I'm live from the United Center. So what has happened now is if whoever wins this game will play the winner of Illinois, Wisconsin, which comes up at 1:30. And then, of course, the next game after that is obviously Nebraska, Purdue, and of course UCLA, Michigan State. The winners will all play each other to determine who goes to the semifinals tomorrow on Saturday. So that's kind of the Big Ten tournament in a nutshell. We may hear some things in the second half as we continue to do the show. You guys still every so often. But for now, we're going to move on. Okay, so this is my should be a good call, but there were some question marks about this. Some are saying that it was lovely, saying potentially good call. The fact of the matter is Ilia and Dustin Gaethje are two of the biggest stars in the sport, and that's gonna and that's obviously in that, just given that there was a lot of reasons that John Jones might be on the court, there were rumors that Conor McGregor may be on the court, but given that these guys had background checks and all that stuff, I mean, obviously that kind of teams the whole vibe, the whole trajectory, what have you. So that's kind of what's going on with those guys, and obviously it's going to be very interesting how the card plays out. It's only a 6-fight card. You don't quite know what's going on. You don't quite know what's going on with the timing of everything. Whether the card is going to be on Paramount Plus, or the other card is going to be on CBS. But it's an interesting card, so there's going to be more development to come on that as well. But I do think that it's going to be more respectful than the so that's as well. And then just another update here about let's go to the second half to Ohio State. How the second half plays out again. This is 39 to 35. Are we looking at some NFL free agency? Just want to quickly talk about shooting more going to the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, the time the Bears played a considerable amount of time. By the way, as I say that the second half is underway between Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan has the ball and then nearly turned it over on the first possession. Nonetheless, though, this was big news out of the NFL this week. DJ Moore going to the Bills. This is a huge offensive upgrade for Josh Allen, as the Bills still have yet to make the Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era. They've come close a couple of times, still have yet to win the AFC Championship. In light of that, but still, though, should be interesting to see how the season plays out, especially with DJ Moore being one of the big acquisitions as well. Tua Tagovailoa going to the Atlanta Falcons. Very interesting. Obviously, the Falcons needed a quarterback. The question is going to be, is Tua too injury prone? And if he is too injury prone, what does that exactly mean for the hopes of Atlanta? I'm not so sure. But the NFC South is going to be very competitive moving forward as that division kind of takes shape, and that's what it's supposed to be. That division is sort of a suspect division overall, but nonetheless, though, it should be an interesting conference with that addition as well. Something else to note, though, kind of going back to the Big Ten tournament here, as Michigan still has the ball, it's 39-37 Wolverines. And the possession arrow points towards Ohio State as Michigan scores right there. That's Mara with another bucket there. So Michigan increases its lead to 41-37. So that's going to be interesting as well. And by the way, Mara now has 6 points. He's played 13 minutes. Mirage Johnson also with 6, and Elliot Cadeau with 7. Ohio State now with the ball. They've had some trouble with ball possession handling. They kept that alive, and they scored that 41-39 Michigan. As Ohio State recovered it, and Mobley Jr. got it to go for 2, so it's 41-39. There was a brief break in the action as they went to sweep the court there, but that is for a long. That was a long 44-39 Michigan there with a beautiful pass to set up the shot there. That was phenomenal stuff, and it was a great shot by the Chicago native himself, Mirage Johnson Jr. Michigan leads 44. Comes back to the and gets that to go 44-42 Wolverines. Now Mobley Jr. starting to heat up a little bit. He now has 12 for the Buckeyes. Nonetheless, they're moving back over to NFL free agency. Just final thought. Being paired up with DJ. It's obviously big news overall for the Bills. As I just said, keeps them a contender in the AFC East. And again, we'll be very interested to see what happens. There's some other moves as well that my ETV Sports co-host Nick Morrison and I discussed on this week's show. So if you want more of that, please be sure to check out the newest episode that came out this past Wednesday. All right. Zuffa Boxing 04 took place this past Saturday, or Sunday rather. We did okay on the card. There were a couple of draws. Pretty sure I was 4-2-2, I think is what it was for my overall record. But Zuffa Boxing 04, big storyline out of that. Jai Opataya becomes the first ever Zuffa champion. Well, given what it means from the IBF standpoint, whether it means anything or whether it doesn't, what it does is it shows that Jairo Pataya could be a star in Zuffa boxing. It's really good against Brandon Glenn in the main event. Overall, a solid performance for um, Jairo Pataya himself. He was really good doing it, and just overall impressive win. The overall card itself was very okay overall. Shout out to the 111 people who are watching this right now. Let's go over the results of this card where we have a second. As by the way, Michigan is taking the inbound and they really lost. They did. All right, here are the results of this. So we went 4-2-2 was my overall record this past week, and we got some of the big ones right. We got Alvarado right, and somebody's not happy about a 3-second call. I don't blame. Alvarado was correct, Gane was correct, Salas was correct, and of course Opataya was correct as well. So a decent Zuffa boxing show. We have another one coming up in early April from the Meta Apex. But Dana White did say that things are looking up for Zuffa when it comes to taking the show on the road. So that'll be interesting. Speaking of Zuffa, we'll now move over to the UFC side of things. UFC Vegas 114 is tomorrow night from the Meta Apex. Main event of the evening is Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Tagal. Let's take a look at the card itself. Should be a decent card, I would say. Or should be Kevin Players, my bad. Players does it, or Zalalas fight. Anyway, Josh Emmett sitting at 19-6. Kevin Players sitting at 17-1. It's the main event of the evening. A featherweight 5-round fight. Players won his last 5. These are gigantic, minus 575 favorites. Well, the 41-year-old Emmett is sitting at plus 400 and has lost 4 of his last 5 fights. He has a chance of a one-sided fight. I like the players by decision. To run through my quick hits here while we have a moment. We have Rodriguez by decision, Lacerda by decision, Garcia by decision, and by second round knockout. Souza by decision, you by decision, Aspen getting upset by knockout, or by decision, Silva by decision, C by knockout, Ricky by knockout, Delgado by decision, Lemos by decision, Pereira by decision. Well, that is it'll be live on by preliminary start followed by Saturday night 14 fights from let's do that. Be like Valeos in the main event of the evening. And the final topic before we get back to talking about some basketball for a little bit here, as we have a little bit more time. I wanted to spend the last 15 minutes talking about basketball, so it works out perfectly. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano took place this past week in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome. Pretty decent press conference overall. It was nice to see Gina Carano back in good spirits. And Ronda Rousey had some very interesting things to say about UFC fighter pay and everything that's going on with that. She believes that Dana White isn't fully in charge of the UFC anymore ever since they had the sale and ever since they went to Paramount Plus. But she doesn't feel like he's really given the UFC his full attention because he can't. Some people agree with him, other people do not agree with him. But what I will say is this, at least she's honest. she knows that not every fighter is treated the exact same way. That's obviously very interesting to know. And she knows too, because she has to sell her own fight. But this is a better card than the White House. I'm not sure about that. You do have Francis Ngannou on the card fighting Felipe Wins. And Felipe Wins is nowhere close to the level of heavyweights that Francis Ngannou has fought in the past. So I find that to be a little bit skeptical on the side of Francis Ngannou. So that fight is May 16th from the Interdome in Los Angeles. The full card is to be announced. Who else is on the card? But what we do know, though, is it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be on Netflix. It should be really exciting. And overall, I'm interested to see how the card plays out from an overall standpoint. Tickets are already on sale right now as well. And overall, it should be an interesting card overall. So I'm excited to see how everything overall plays out. We're going to get back to the Big Ten tournament, though, for the next 10 to 15 minutes. We have a 44-44 tie in the second half between two bitter Big Ten rivals. Again, that's Michigan and Ohio State. Again, 44-44, as a missed shot is right there out of bounds. It's going to go back over to the Ohio State Buckeyes. 15-36 to go in regulation. Again, the winner of this game plays the winner of the next game, which is coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes. Illinois versus Wisconsin, a rematch from a game that took place in Champaign, where Illinois fell to the Badgers 92-90. Again, the winner of that game will play the winner of the game that's currently going on right now in the first game of semifinal Saturday. Here from the United Center in Chicago, again, the home of the Big Ten tournament. The first year that they have done 18 teams. It's been a tournament that's been going on since Tuesday, starting on Tuesday with Maryland and Oregon and Northwestern and Penn State. And from then on, it's continued on. And now the final 8 teams in the standings have made it to quarterfinal Friday. And only one can move on while the others go home. As on the video board here, they're showing a missed 3 that was taken over by Ohio State there. As Ohio State moves right up the court as well. It slips and falls, and there's a travel on Ohio State. The ball will go back to the Michigan Wolverines. Again, a tie game here, and still a whole half to go. 14:52 left in regulation time. As this replay is brought to you by Orange Crush, because why not? And Brutus the Buckeye, the legendary mascot, was beside himself at that turnover, and I can't blame him. That was a pretty brutal turnover. We could go to the rim, and he scores for the Wolverines to now lead 46-44. And again, for those of you who are curious, these games are live on the Big Ten Network as we speak. For those who are not in attendance at the United Center, a good mix of Ohio State fans, Wisconsin fans, Illinois fans, and Michigan fans scattered throughout the United Center. Packed house today on a Friday afternoon. Couldn't get much better than that, as another guy, I think it might have been the same guy, was not a fan, just yelled out boo as he should, because that was absolutely brutal on that. All right, let's see what we have going on here as well. All right, we have an inbounds for Ohio State here. Thornton's going to take it out for Ohio State. Timeout Buckeyes 40-40 is the score there.
Trying to take your shot in the Big Ten really unlocked. Scan the QR code and scratch off your ticket for a chance to win tickets to next year's Big Ten basketball tournaments, exclusive Big Ten merchandise, and promotions. Scan the CD in the chat room.
There's a layup lottery promotion on the
Take your shot.
You can win several Big Ten prizes. But those
on TikTok and Instagram for coverage of the 2026 TIAA Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament. and the best stories of cross basketball.
Salty campus in full force today for all the fans. They sure a lot of people build up today. And if we're to get eliminated, again, one of these two teams will have two big football rivals. Michigan and Ohio State, 14-9 to go out of this Ohio State timeout. We will stick around for about the next 10 minutes. We'll see how much further we can get in this game. And who knows if this game is still interesting, we might carry on. We'll see the end plays out. And for those who know me well, you guys know the name of the sponsor. I'm going to watch Illinois and see if they can advance to the semifinal Saturday here in Chicago. As I alluded to earlier in the stream, trying to exact revenge against the Wisconsin Badgers here this afternoon. Should be an exciting game between these two teams. High-powered offenses as well. Obviously, two really good coaches in Greg Gard and Greg. Should be really interesting to see how everything kind of plays out there as they are both on a neutral site. And of course, these games are meeting this Sunday, this selection Sunday. So we will see who goes or who plays where in March Madness and what the second round site can maybe look like for Illinois should Illinois get the draw they hope to get. But more than likely, you see, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're out of the timeout now for Ohio State. Is about to come back up to work. We're about to handle the business. So, yeah, baseline out of bounds for Ohio State. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Inbounds to Ohio State, and the game resumes.
Ciryl, his first team start. Michigan 15.
I don't know if I agree with that foul call either. That's interesting to know. I don't know. All right, Michigan's going to inbound the ball now. Getting this thing back. They might score on this possession actually. There's Cadell. He's going to drive in. Oh, up. And he scores. That's Mora. And that's again one opportunity for the Wolverines to try to go up 5. 44 Wolverines. Somebody's not happy about that, and I can't blame them. Right, Ohio State missed a shot on the other end there, so Michigan has the ball back. That's a foul there on. Oh, who's this going to be on? This was tough to call. Let's. Oh yeah, that's on. Oh, it's going to be a really cool.
Wow.
Yep,
Just like
that's exactly it.
YouTube.
Okay, no problem. So that's going to put a bow on the newest edition of Bando's Breakdowns. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just a few final reminders before we get out of here. Thanks again for tuning into the first ever live stream of the show. YouTube.com/GTP Network is where we're going to find everything. You can subscribe there. We're climbing right along on the watch hour front, so check us out there. Listen to Bando's Breakdowns, every little podcast. And of course, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Again, YouTube.com/GTP Network. Finally, I'm Zain Bando, TV network co-host, host of this show, and a sports journalist at several different publications. We were live from the United Center today, so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to the 137 people that tuned into the stream. Greatly appreciate you all. We will be back next week, regular time, Friday afternoon, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, for episode 82. But until next week, hope you have a good one and enjoy the rest of the Big Ten tournament. It should be a fun remainder of the weekend as Ohio State and Michigan are really dead locked in the second half of Ohio State. It's there. Again, just as a final reminder, the winner of this game plays the winner of Illinois versus Wisconsin, which is coming up in just under an hour live from the United Center. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks again, and talk to you all soon. Thanks.